Today we will discuss two-period European binomial option pricing model. Let us quickly recap the highlights of the binomial option pricing model. The model is a mathematical, a simple model. It can be used for both European and American option. And the notable disadvantage of the model is it becomes computationally complex as the number of periods increases. And the most significant limitation of the model is and prediction of the future prices. The basic assumption in the model, at every point, every discrete interval of period of time, the price of the underlying asset can go up or down by two possible outcomes. The underlying asset pays no dividend. The interest rate, we use it as a discounting factor, can be both discrete interest rate as well as continuous compounding. And we will use a continuous compounding in our calculations. The market is frictionless, there are no transaction costs, and investors are risk neutral, indifferent to risk, and the risk-free rate of return remains constant. And what are the steps involved in calculating the option pricing model using binomial? The first step is to calculate the up factor and the down factor U and D. The second step is to calculate the up probability and the down probability. And the third step is to calculate the call option put option payoff at the end nodes. Then using the discounting rate, calculate the present value of the expected payoffs by working backwards. So let us quickly take an example of a two-period and European call option and put option calculations. So let's look at this problem. Calculate the European call option and put option price using a two-period binomial option pricing model using the below details. Let's assume the current stock price is 100. The strike price of the option is 90. The risk-free rate of interest is 6%, and let's assume and it is a continuous compounding. It can be, and you can also use discrete compounding, but in our example we use continuous compounding. And the option expiry period is 1 year, and the stock can go by 20% or it can come down by 10%. So what are all the inputs required for the model? We got the current price is 100 and the strike price is 90. The option expiry is 1 year. And since it's a two-period binomial, the number of steps is 1. So we are going to break the 1 year by 2, that is 0.5, 6 months, 6 months. The risk-free rate of interest, it is continuous compounding. And the stock can go by 20% upward or 10% downwards. These are all the given inputs. And so the first step is to calculate the up factor U and the down factor D. So the stock can go from 100 to 1 plus 20%, 120, or can come down by 1 minus 10%, 90. And so we can straight away calculate. So 1 plus 20% is 1.2. 1 minus 10% is 0.9. Then the second important step is calculate what is called the up probability. The formula for calculating the upside probability, upward probability, is exponential R into T minus D divided by U minus D. So once you calculate the up probability, so it is 43.48, and 1 minus the upside probability is the downside probability. So for our convenience, we will keep the discounting rate ready. Since it is continuous compounding, we take exponential minus R into T. Now, so let's quickly go into how do you calculate using a two-period European call option price. The current stock price is 100, and it can go to 100 into U, that is it can go into 120, or it can come to 100 into D, that is SD, that is 90. And this is the first discrete time interval, 6 months. And from 6 months to 1 year, so the stock can go from 120 to 144, that is SU into U, and the stock can also come down from and SUD or SDU. So it can come from 120 into 90, or it can come to the middle node is a repetitive node. So the 90, from 90 it can go 90 into 1.2, that is 108. Similarly 90 into 0.9, it is 81. So the middle node 108 is repetitive. Let's keep it like this. So the first step is moving forward from two discrete periods from time t0. 6 months we got the stock value, either it can go to 120 or 90, or from 6 months to 1 year it can 120 can become 144 or 108, or 90 can become 108 or 81. The next step is to calculate the call option payoff value at these three nodes. So we know the strike price is 90. So maximum of 144 minus 90, 0 is 54. So it is in the money. Similarly, maximum of 108 minus 90 is 18. Again, it is option expires in the money. So now this third node, the option expires out of the money. So there is no payoff value. So we calculate maximum of the current stock price at these nodes minus the strike price, 0. Now the next step is we need to move backwards, and by calculating the expected value using the up probability and the down probability. So 54 into the up probability, and so plus 18 into down probability into the discounting factor. So the discounting factor we have basically, since we are traveling backwards, we are using the discounting factor. Similarly, this 18 into up probability and 0 into and down probability will give you 7.6 into the discounting factor. So now we have traveled backwards by 6 months. Again we have to reach the time t0, 32.66 into the up probability plus 7.6 into the down probability into the discounting factor. We are able to calculate the call option price value. So roughly we can calculate whether the option price calculation is correct, because the current stock price is 100, the strike price is 90. So always you can see that 100 minus 90 is the intrinsic value is 10 rupees is there. So the option price has to be greater than 10. So the call is in the money. So the 7.95 will be the time value. So roughly we can say the calculation is correct. Now how do you calculate a 2-period European put option? And we'll use the same method. So we'll put the same value here, excepting, and while moving backwards, so we'll first calculate the put option value. That is nothing but maximum of strike price minus the node value. Here we will say maximum of strike price is 90. 90 minus 144 is 0. Again 90 minus 108 is 0. So only here 90 minus 181 is 9. So we got the put option payoff value at these nodes. Again travel backwards. 0 into up probability plus 0 into down probability into the discounting factor is 0. And here 0 into up probability and 9 into the down probability into the discounting factor will give you 4.94. So we have traveled backwards. Now the last step is to calculate the expected value, the present value of the expected value, which is nothing but 0 into up probability plus 4.94 and the 4.94 into the down probability into the discounting factor will give you 2.71. You can see that put expires out of the money. So it is there is no intrinsic value because 90 minus 100 is 0, the intrinsic value, and your option pricing here is 2.71. So for the same values, call as in the money, you got 17.95, put is out of the money, 2.74. So the next video we will see and how we can calculate a 2-period American option using the same values. Thank you for listening. Thank you.